Lumley Iridium. The boys are back in town. Dom and Jam, how you doing, guys?
Hello. Yes, good. Thank you. You?
Yeah,
doing good.
Good.
Not bad. So our normal weekly catch up for all killer, no filler, total frustration. We're here.
Yeah. Yeah. Back to a normal one this week.
The fans are waiting, and we're here.
Oh, I know. God, I tell you, they're staying up all night.
Exactly. So we're up to 2004, guys. 2004, man. Fucking hell.
Flying through.
We are.
We've done 24 years. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is mad. So obviously, before actually I run through the rules of the game, I have mentioned this T-shirt before, but I'm going to mention it again. Thanks to the Dark Horde for sending this to me. They're not actually demons, by the way. They're not actually a Dark Horde that sent me it. It's the band. But it's a very cool T-shirt, don't you think?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks to the guy. Oh, hold on.
Oh, geez, here we go.
More
product placement.
They've also sent me this. You know what this is? Let me show you.
It's a koozie.
Drink called.
Beer koozie. That's what it's called.
Is that what you call it? Because they apparently in Australia, these guys from Australia, it's called two things. One in one part of the Australia and another in another. But yeah, it keeps the beer cold. I had to sort of hint, but my missus didn't know what it was, so they told me what it was because I didn't fucking know either. So, but thanks to the Dark Horde, obviously anyone I banged on about them this year anyway, about their albums, brilliant. But yeah, does this, do you know, obviously you're a professional on this, Dom, does it also keep your tea hot, or is it just
I don't know. I only know about the cold brews going in that.
Yeah, obviously in Australia they've got better weather than us. They probably need this more than we do. But I do really appreciate anything that anyone sends to me for free. So there you go.
Hint. God, you're so freaking subtle.
No, thanks, guys. Absolutely brilliant. I love the T-shirt as well, and you know what a design. It's actually became my favorite T-shirt at the moment. So there you go. Right. Okay. 2004. All killer, no filler, total frustration. Obviously, the rules are we're up to 2004, so every release has to be from that year. We can't choose two songs from an album, so we can't repeat ourselves on that. And also, the track listing has to match the track listing of the original album. That's all that out of the way. I'm ready for this. You ready?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
2004. That means Jan goes first.
Okay, cool. Right, I'm going with a bit of metalcore, going with Killswitch Engage on their third album, I believe, and it's the first one with Howard Jones singing, not the 80s singer, but a different one. And it's the opening track is A Bid Farewell, which is really heavy, really good. I think it's just as good a singer as Jesse Leach. I like both of them in the band. I don't really have a preference. They did it. Amicable replacement. In fact, he's probably done more albums than Jesse, actually, because I think he did quite a few. Obviously, Jesse's back in the band now, of course. But yeah, they start to typical metalcore. It's quite heavy in the verses, and then softens up a bit for the chorus. And the last minute or so is quite melodic. And yeah, it's a good track, good album actually. The title track's really good as well, which I probably shouldn't have said in case someone's got it, but they probably haven't. So yeah, good opening. Bid Farewell, very heavy, very cool.
It is fucking heavy. The band. I mean, the riffs are just, their breakdowns are mad. I think I said that before, but they're very heavy.
I really like them. Good live as well.
Very cool, mate. Good start. As heavy as you can get. What you got then, Dom?
Okay, well, not quite as heavy, but maybe in a different way. Band I mentioned before, but I'm finally getting them on here. This is Glucifer from Sweden. This is Automatic Thrill from their album, from the album Automatic Thrill title track. What a stormer this is. God, I just love it. This is one of those, Dominic dancing in his pants type of songs. This is their fifth and sadly last album. They went out with a huge bang. They got signed to Sony for this one, so they had the major label behind them, but I think maybe after 5 records, they just decided that was becoming too much of a business maybe and not fun anymore. I don't know. I don't really know the story. They have reunited for a few festival appearances in Sweden over the last few years, but no new music as of yet, but hopefully, because it does say on Wikipedia, Gopher is a Swedish band rather than was.
Yes.
So I guess technically they are back together for sporadic appearances, but I'd love for them to make some new music because they were just hitting the heights right there. But yeah, if you haven't heard Glucifer Automatic Thrill, man, put that on and turn it up. It's
Very
good.
cool. Very cool indeed. Okay, my track one is from a band that came and went too quickly, in my opinion. Only one album. I think it's an EP and an album. This is the debut and last album from Silvertide. Any of these guys go?
Yeah, I had this record.
Yeah, so
I had no idea that made it over to the UK.
Yeah, I mean, it was really hyped up, to tell you the truth. The album, it was a big thing at the time. So Silvertide, the album was called Show and Tell, and the opening track is Ain't Coming Home, which is a real rocker. Got quite, I think it was a single at the time. There's a video to this as well. Yeah, these were really hyped up because I suppose at the time there wasn't a lot of southern rock about at that time that was, really hitting the heights. And they had that southern rock plus AC/DC a little bit. So a bit of Skinner, a bit of AC/DC, and Aerosmith. I think they was sort of like, maybe the heavier side, the earlier Aerosmith stuff. And it's a great album from start to finish, to tell you the truth. And I can't believe it. They came and just disappeared like that. I mean, the lead singer, without sounding a bit weird, was very good looking. Long blonde hair, looked the part. They were pretty rocking, really. If you haven't heard Silvertide, because they came and went so quick, well worth a listen if you like that. A real rocking band they were. So Silvertide, Ain't Coming Home from the Show and Tell album.
Cool. Right on.
Right, okay. Track two, where you got him, mate?
Right, number two, I've got Gopher Band I've not had on here before. It's a band that I really got into these at the time, probably 10 years ago, perhaps a bit longer, and I've got all their albums and listen to them all the time. But now I just don't listen to them at all, really. I don't know why. I just sort of go through phases, don't you? But anyway, it's a band from Finland called the 69 Eyes, and they're sort of gothic rock band. This is from their album Devils, which I think is their third or fourth album. The song is Feel Berlin, and it's sort of Sisters of Mercy folk sort of style singing, but they're more rock. There's no drum machine. It's probably more like a band playing. So you probably like it. It's very melodic. I just love his voice on it. It's really good. Pretty Andrew Eldrick-esque, if you like. And yeah, just got a really good groove. The whole album's a bit different. It's probably one of the more produced ones they did. The first few albums were a little bit rougher. And I saw these I think I saw it at Download. That's why I think I caught the back end of their set, or I was waiting for a band afterwards or something. I saw them and I really, really impressed with them. And then that's how I got into them. But as I say, I don't really listen to them anymore, but I don't know why. But I saw it was this year. I thought I'd give it a play, and Feel Berlin, 69 Eyes. There you go.
Very cool.
I just saw before we signed on here, there's one of those hard rock hell nights, they do like a glam weekend or whatever. They're doing a goth, and it's headlined by New Model Army, but 69 Eyes are playing as well. So
cool. Where's that?
Sometime next year. I don't know when or where, but I just saw that. It was just a sponsored ad on my Facebook. So check it out, maybe. I don't know. If they're all playing the same night, that would probably be worth going to.
Definitely.
I've noticed there's a lack of addresses when some of these festivals or these one-nighters. I'm like sometimes looking at the poster, like we're really meant to know. Perhaps I'm just not knowledgeable enough to know the name of that festival, where it actually is. But I look sometimes at some of these bands and I think, man, I love fucking like 10, 12 of those bands.
Yeah,
I can't find where it is, and usually it's like Sweden or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, the hard rock hell is UK, but it does bounce around.
Yeah.
I think they've done something at Rock City, Nottingham Rock City, and there was one in up in Scotland as well. So it does bounce around, but they do have they break it down. They'll have like a goth weekend or a prog weekend or a glam weekend or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I'll have to look into that one.
I need it to be in Cornwall, really, but that ain't gonna happen.
Not much chance for that.
Maybe not Cornwall.
No, definitely not. Good choice, though, mate. Very good jam. Cheers, mate. Cool. What you got then, Dom, for your second, mate?
Okay, I've got Megadeth, and that is with their 10th album. This is System Has Failed. Song I picked is Die Dead Enough, which is a very Mustaine kind of title, isn't it? Die Dead Enough. Now, this was kind of a strange period because 2 years prior to this, Mustaine had an arm injury, and he pretty much said Megadeth was over. Broke up the band, and then miraculously his arm became better, and he put together Megadeth again, but without Dave Ellefson, who was to this point had been on every Megadeth record. And that prompted Ellefson to sue him and all this kind of garbage. 2 albums later, then Ellefson came back, and then we all know what happened last year. So so he's gone again. But yeah, so it was a strange period. Apparently this started as a Mustaine solo album. But the label, but there's some sort of contract, blah, 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 and the label made him make it a Megadeth album. I mean, it sounds like a Megadeth album to me. It doesn't stylistically, it doesn't change at all. So Megadeth name only, I guess. But yeah, so it's great. Kind of a return to form. I think this is stronger of their later catalog, and Die Dead Enough, you know. That's a classic Megadeth.
Yeah, definitely. just to let you guys know, I don't know if you've heard, you might actually like it a lot as well, Jan. Dave, what's his name? Elferson, is it?
David Ellefson.
Ellefson, sorry. He's got a band. He's already bought an album out with another band. The band's called Lucid, Lucid, with some guys. I'm saying you might like it, Jan, because the vocalist, he's got this sort of gothic-y. He comes from a band, I can't remember what it is now, and I thought straight away you might like them. It's a bit like sometimes they sound a bit like Stone Temple Pilots, a lot like that.
Cool.
Quite heavy, but totally different for Dave Ellefson, obviously.
All right, I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, check them out. It's just come out a couple of weeks ago. So
have you done a review on it then? I didn't see it.
No, I haven't had. I haven't really had the chance to. I've heard it, and it sounds pretty good. So. But it does sound right up your street, that one.
Cool. We'll have a list of
that. Okay. My second track, I'm going to Yawn, of course. Yawny. And his album that he had out this year was Out to Every Nation, and it's the title track. And it's brilliant. And he's really given his Coverdale bit on this one. I was born to be a rambling man. I think he starts off with a bit of guitar, and then he just breaks into this scream, and it's just brilliant. Yeah. So it's a rocking.
This was on my short list. I didn't quite make it because I probably knew that you were probably going to talk about it, so I chose something else. Yeah,
it's brilliant. Yawn Londe, he can't do no wrong in my eyes. So Out to Every Nation. I think he might have a song on here every time he brings an album out, for sure. So Out to Every Nation is a great title track. It's a great track too for me. Okay.
Cool.
Round 3. What you got, Jim?
Round 3, okay. An old favourite, and we're going to talk about it and some more coming up, and it's the Wild Hearts from their album Coupled With, which is sort of compilation of B-sides and unreleased stuff, you know, the sort of things that record companies put out and that sort of thing. This is actually a cover version. Try not to put cover versions in if I can, but you know, sometimes some are really good. And this is the theme from Cheers, with excerpts and bits from Taxi, the American series. It's just brilliantly done. It's just rocked up. Obviously, it sounds. You know, I used to love watching Cheers when I was a kid. Me too. And it's just a fun song. Got a lot of radio play. I think this song when it was released. Actually, and Chris Moyles played it on the radio a lot apparently. But I don't know. I just liked it. Yeah, I just liked it. Obviously before that, but yeah, got a lot of radio play apparently. So yeah. Excellent. Obviously, like Cheers, then check it out. Heavier version of the theme track.
Do like Cheers. Love the program. Used to love it. I haven't seen it for years, but
don't watch it anymore. But no, it was good.
Very cool indeed. Okay, Dom, what you got?
Okay, number 3, we're going to give a welcome back to Europe. They were away for 13 years, and they came back here with Start from the Dark, sounding much different than they ever did before. I admittedly was not a fan of Europe very much back when they were very popular. The song that will not be named is one of those that are just
we could sing the theme tune though without actually naming it. We could do the the little bit of, we could do the keyboard part, couldn't we?
I wish you wouldn't, but I mean, if you have to.
Oh, I won't.
I mean, it's just one of those just.
The thing is, the band have made, obviously, they made a lot of money out of that song. I'm not saying they don't regret it, because they probably don't, but what it's done on the flip side is make everyone think of them just because of that song.
Just frozen in time. Whenever you mention Europe, that's all anyone ever thinks about.
And there's so much more than that, obviously.
Especially now.
Yeah.
So start from the dark. I mean, much different band. They've they've got rid of those kind of keyboards, and now they switched to Lee's favorite, the Hammond organ. So they're much more 70s based. Tempest has a bit more of a gruff to his voice now, and I think they've just been fantastic from this moment on. And if somebody told me in the 90s that Europe were going to come back and be great, I would be like, what are you talking about? But they really are. I mean, really, name only Europe. I mean, they could just be a different band, but man, they've really progressed and matured, and fantastic stuff. So the track that I picked is called Flames. I think they have 4 more albums after this so far. Still going strong. So they're still producing great records, but this was the first of their kind of rebirth, if you will. So there you go. Europe.
They sort of remind me that the way people think about them, they remind me of Winger.
Yeah.
You know, people won't give them a chance because of that song that we won't mention, the song with no name.
Everyone knows what we're talking about. But I mean, if you would be dead surprised if you put on one of their newer records and not even knowing who it was, and if somebody told you it's Europe, you'd be like, what the fuck?
To tell you the truth, though, I must admit, if I haven't been to see him in concert, but I'll probably still get excited when they play that song with no name we're talking about. I couldn't help it. I think I would, if I was there, I think I would.
If they really were, concerned, they would disown it and not play it, but they do play it, don't they? I think.
They're not the type of band to complain about it. I don't think.
No.
They'll probably play it still with some enthusiasm, even though that's not the kind of music they're writing anymore.
Agreed.
Yeah, fair enough.
So "Rock the Night" was a good song, though. Now we're not talking about that one. All right, okay, right. Anyway, my track 3. I think I've mentioned them quite a few times anyway. I love them. TNT and the song Lonely Nights from New Religion. So bit of a comeback album. Obviously, the last time I spoke about TNT, they went through this, although they were still good albums, they went through this difficult
moderny
stage. Yeah. And there's still a touch, but a lot less. They're going back to their classic sort of sound here. New Religion album is brilliant. Great production, just sounds fantastic. Return to the classic TNT sound, really. This is a really unbelievably catchy chorus as well. And obviously Tony Harnell's he's amazing. Even now he sings them heights are just ridiculous. But TNT, Lonely Nights off a New Religion. I suppose if anyone left them alone after, I don't know, Intuition maybe when they brought those couple of experimental albums out, and they thought they didn't go back to what they sounded like, check New Religion out. It's fantastic. And Lonely Nights is an excellent song. Okay.
Cool.
Jam, what you got then,
4,
mate?
right. Yeah. Second of my 3 really heavy tracks in this list, actually. And it's I Stick My Fingers Into My Eyes.
Go on, then.
Slipknot. Slipknot with Duality. I can't sing, so I won't attempt it. But obviously from Volume 3, the Subliminal Verses, classic Slipknot. This is the great video, I think, when they're in the house in the woods, I think, aren't they? And everything's classic. Yeah, I love this song. I'm not a massive Slipknot fan, although I have got a song on from all their albums so far, so obviously like them more than I thought. But Rick Rubin produced this album as well, the only one he did do. So I like a bit of Rick doing the production. It's probably because of obviously all the Danzig and all the other bands we've mentioned that he's produced. Not always good, but yeah, he's done a good job on this. Heavy, crowd favourite, fan favourite, always play it. Everybody knows Duality. So there you go, Slipknot.
Great song, man. Okay. What you got then, Dom?
Okay.
Slipknot?
Speaking of, no, not Slipknot. But speaking of seminal bands, Motorhead with their album Inferno, 17th album.
Fuck.
Motorhead, 17th album.
Well, listen,
Just
did you
let
hear?
that sink in.
I couldn't upload it, but Saxon are bringing their 23rd album out next year. 23rd.
Crazy.
I mean, just
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, just
Yeah.
I mean, such steady output. Same with Motorhead. You know, I don't think they've made a Duff album. Maybe some are better than others, and some I might only like. You know, maybe half the tracks, but still, that's
Pretty good. Yeah.
it's 5 tracks for every in 17 albums. That's a hell of a lot of songs for one band. The album's called Inferno. The song I picked is Suicide. Kind of more of a mid-tempo. I like when Motorhead do their mid-tempo ones, and he gets a bit of a growl. Again, they're just doing their thing. They're not breaking any rules. But if you love Motorhead, man, you got to check out some of these later albums. A lot of people, I think, just at some point, they stopped listening to them or stopped buying their records because obviously they sold more T-shirts than albums. So at some point, man, they really are worth going. And he's gone now, so there won't be any new ones. Yeah. But there's a lot of music to discover if you didn't get it at the time. So check it out, Motorhead. Suicide from Inferno.
Cool. Good one, mate. And I've got I push my fingers into my eyes. I've got that one as well. I've got Slipknot.
Quality.
There you go.
Good stuff.
Probably my favourite Slipknot song, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, of Corey Taylor's. I think you know me and shouting. I think he's just on the right level here, where he's not. It's not too much for me. It's just you can hear everything he's singing. I love the video as well, like you said. It's a great video, just action-packed, bit violent, it's
scary trees.
Yeah, through the woods, aren't they? Running through the woods. Fucking hell.
Yeah, like scary trees.
Yeah, just brilliant. Love it.
Scary trees.
Love everything about the song. Just heavy as fuck and just really sort of melodic and catchy at the same time. The chorus is so catchy as well. So
yeah.
Slipknot Duality. Our first match tonight. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. What you got for track 5 then, man?
Track 5 is my last really heavy song, and it's even heavier probably, and that's first appearance from Lamb of God, from their Ashes of the Wake album. This is Alberta, which is, Lamb of God. I heard him a few years ago and I thought that's just too heavy for me. But as I've sort of listened to more heavy stuff, I guess, recently, I've started listening to him again, and I really like him now. I think they're absolutely brilliant, Lamb of God. And not everybody's style of singing for some people, but this song, Omerta, is quite a slow song. It's got a spoken intro because all about the code of honour that Omerta obviously is referring to. And they'll usually play this one live. I was going to go and see him. We had tickets to see him in December, and it's been put back a year as well. So I'm a bit annoyed, but good album. Ashes of the Wake, I think it's their second album. They actually called what they called first off. Oh, something Priest or something. They had a different name of the band, and they renamed their band Lamb of God afterwards. But so that was a similar band. So I think this might be their second album as Lamb of God. So there you go. Check them out if you've not heard them. Cool.
You've got a fucking heavy list tonight, mate. Just for letting you know that.
Yeah, that's it. Gets a bit more man later on, so all right.
Okay. What you got then, Dom? Track 5.
All right. I've got my first appearance from a hardcore band.
Fucking hell.
In all of our list. These guys are from Boston. They're called Blood for Blood. This is the last album they did. Obviously, I always like these bands at the end of their careers, apparently. This is from the album called Serenity. And the name of the song is A Rock and Roll Song. So you just know it's right up my street. It's great. They've got this singer that's just kind of like, I don't know. I love that kind of snotty, that kind of snotty vocal. He does the choruses, but the verses are the hardcore singer. Watching too much. It's just It's just fantastic, man. I can't tell you how many times I listen to this song. Just love it so much. They kind of disappeared. I do think another one that does reunion shows around the Boston area and stuff, but this is just a perfect mix of just regular rock and roll with some really toughness, hardcore toughness, and it really works. It's fantastic. So Blood for Blood, a rock and roll song.
Very cool, mate. Very cool. So the first and last appearance for that band for you. So very cool indeed.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I really want to talk about this record at least. Yeah.
I don't talk about this one enough, actually. It's Dio. So, the Master of the Moon, which is his last album. The Man Who Would Be King is the song I've chosen. Sort of a piano at the beginning with Dio's isolated vocal. You just can't beat him, can you? When he's just got that, when something's going to happen, epic, don't you? When he's got that either a little guitar bit with him or piano with him, and it turns into a sort of doomy classic rock song, sort of a slow chug going on in this, with obviously the best singer in the world singing over it. So what more can you ask for? The Man Who Would Be King off of Master of the Moon. There you go, Dio.
Cool.
I really think that's a strong album for him. I'm glad that he kind of went out. Well, that's the last Dio album. Obviously, the last recorded would be that Heaven and Hell album. But but I think that's a pretty strong Dio album. I'm glad that went out on a high note. And can I just say, happenstance, today is the 40th anniversary of Mob Rules.
Oh yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. I've been at work. I haven't really noticed that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did see that, actually,
yeah. I mean, the album might not be quite on par with that, but it's still a good album.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. Track 6. What we got in, Jack?
6. Okay, going a bit more mellow now. We're going to Incubus and their album, A Crow Left of the Murder. And the song is Sick, Sad Little World. It's a good album. It's got a little mix of everything that Incubus do on this one, with not so much of the scratching and the rapping type stuff they do. It's mostly sort of a rock record, and the first open track, Megalomania, is quite heavy, and Pistola is what I wanted to get off this album really, but unfortunately I couldn't fit it. But the Sad Sick Little World was a great song as well. It's quite a long song for Incubus. It's about 6-7 minutes, something like that. It's got a cool bass riff at the intro. It's quite an upbeat song, and just a good rocker, good chorus. I say I really like Incubus. I don't like everything they've done, but I like most of. There's always something on their albums that you can pick a couple of songs off. And this was a strong album. I like this one quite a lot. So there you go. Sick, Sad Little World.
Cool. And your brother's favourite?
Does your brother watch these shows, Jim?
Yeah, he's in the other room now watching 2003, I think.
All right.
Yes, it's his favourite band. Yeah.
Yeah.
He could watch it live, couldn't he?
He could do, yeah.
Peeking around the door frame.
Yeah.
I think it put me off a bit. Yeah, put me off a bit, I think.
Good one, mate. Excellent. What you got, Don?
Okay, I've got, similar to your Silver Tide, I've got a one and done band that I loved. Got to see them a few times as well. They just disappeared. Major label debut. They're on Island Records, which was Polygram. So, I mean, they had a bit of money behind them. It just never took off for them. Band is called Letter Kills. The album is called The Bridge, and this is my favorite track on there, called Time Marches On. I used to go to Warped Tour in the States every year. Went for about 6 years, I think. A lot of pop punk and a lot of screamo, and it was a whole big mess. But I mean, talk about bang for your buck. I mean, there were the two main stages. Everybody got 30 minutes. You never knew who was going to be on until you got to the venue, and they would change the lineup. So even if it was a huge band like Blink-182, they might be playing at 2:00 in the afternoon. And, who knows? Yeah, I mean, it was really great. The stages were right next to each other, so you never needed to walk around if you wanted to stay at the main stage, because they were just there and there. But there are tons of smaller stages as well. So much like you, Jam, if I'm going to a festival, I check out bands I've never heard of before, listen to them and see what they're like. Listen to this band, thought they were great. Saw them at Warped Tour, thought they were fantastic. Got to see them twice after that, just supporting other different people in LA. But
Cool.
this is a great record, and Time Marches On, man. This is a great song. Even though I mentioned Warp to it, this is just good rock and roll. Riffy, catchy. I guess it's got a modern edge to it, modern punk edge to it, but you know, it's not. They're not grunge or post grunge or new metal or anything. It's just straight up riffy rock and roll. Great band. I wish they're still around. So Letter Kills with Time Marches On.
Cool.
Very cool, mate. Okay, I'm going with one of my favorite bands again, Tesla. Caught in a Dream from Into the Now. Now this isn't I think me and you agree on this, Dom. It's not the best Tesla album. I mean, they took a big.
Probably my least favorite, maybe.
Yeah. It's probably close for me as well. It sort of had some parts that didn't really sound like them. A bit of that modern edge, I suppose. That you know, a lot of bands had then. But this had more of the old Tesla sound for me. This song, Caught in a Dream.
It's a good track. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's a good song.
Good track. But I mean, obviously, this is the first album since Bust a Nut. 10 years before. So a big comeback for them. A lot of fans love it as well, the album. It's not terrible, it's just not their best, I suppose. But this is a bit like this song itself. It sort of reminds me a bit like of What You Give, that sort of feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that sort of feel that they sometimes do, that sort of southern type ballady type feel. But very cool song for me. Tesla, Caught in a Dream from Into the Now, the comeback of Tesla. And they've got fucking good since and all, haven't they? So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Track 7, guys. What you got, Jan?
Right, I wonder if we might have a clash here. Not clash, you know, the same song. It's Alter Bridge, and it's from One Day Remains, and it's the ballad In Loving Memory. It's absolutely
Great song.
Brilliant song.
I don't have that one. Sorry, it's not a match. Oh, you meant Lee. Oh, sorry.
I think so, yeah.
Fuck off, Dom. Fuck off.
No, it's a great song. I remember I've seen live in Amsterdam DVD, I think they did at the time. This is when they were on tour. I think it was on the Blackbird tour. It might have even been for the first album tour, actually. And I just remember this song from that stood out. It's Tremonti wrote it about his grandmother, I think. And it's quite sad because my grand died last year, so I can't really play it anymore. I struggle to play it. But yeah, it's a great song, sad song. Don't always do it live though, because they've got a couple of ballads and they don't tend to do it. They do it sometimes, but not always. But I think they should, because I think it's their best ballad. But there you go.
It's a great song.
In Loving Memory.
They did a version of this in Loving Memory. I think it was the one at Wembley. I've got all the Blu-rays that when they're live concerts, and the part of the song, it goes on to at the beginning. It goes on to Mark Tremonti, who's one of the most underrated guitarists, I think, in the world. And he looks really choked up because it's obviously what the song's about. And he's really trying to hold back, you know. I suppose the occasion playing, I think it was the first time they played at Wembley as well. So yeah, excellent song. Brilliant choice, mate. Absolutely superb. Okay.
Do you just want to go ahead, Lee? Just want to go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't got it, to tell you the truth.
Oh, right.
There's plenty of other choices on the album though, so there you go.
Did you say this is their first album?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
That's the beginning of the flood of Alter Bridge on our show.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to, warn our viewers. My number 7 is Josh Todd from Buck Cherry. I mentioned I had a Buck Cherry track a couple of years back that a lot of people didn't know they broke up between the second and third album, but they did, and he made a solo record, and it's pretty good. It's a bit tougher than Buck Cherry. Buck Cherry are more kind of just your classic rock riffy. This is a bit angrier, probably because they broke up. I don't know, but the song I picked is Blast, and the name of the album is You Made Me. Came out on an independent record. A lot of people probably haven't heard this, but it's good. It's he can't disguise his voice. He's going to sound like the guy from Buck Cherry, but the music is a bit more in your face, and there's a bit of a distortion on his voice on here. It's really good. It's quite tough, and it's good. So check it out. Josh Todd had a solo record. Who knew?
Very cool. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. Okay, well, I'm going to a band that Jam's actually had earlier on. I think it's
Oh,
his
This is a
first.
love fest here. Jesus.
I know.
Yeah.
So this will be probably the last time that they'll be on my list, but I love this song. It's Kill Switch Engage and the title track, The End of
Yeah.
Heartache.
Yeah.
So, I mean, man, this is a brilliant song. There is some screaming I think they could have, mellowed out a bit on. but it's all part of the heaviness, I suppose. But I'll tell you my favourite bit in this is it's after the chorus, and then it does this brilliant guitar bit before it goes back into the song, and it just fucking blows my mind. It's just absolutely great. The end of Heartache is brilliant. It's obviously the theme tune from Resident Evil Apocalypse. Not the best film in the world. I think we all might agree on that. I don't like any of the Resident Evil films actually. So
I used to like the games, but not the films.
Yeah, same. I mean, but the films are fucking terrible. But it's a brilliant song. The End of Heartache from Kill Switch Engage. And probably the only album I ever heard of theirs as well, fully all the way through.
All right.
So there you go.
Cool.
All right. My only bit of metalcore that'll probably make it to the lists.
Yeah, I'll have some more, I expect, no doubt.
Okay.
Right.
Track 8.
Track 8 then. Okay, we're going to the late, great Abbott Brothers. And this is Damage Plan. They only did one album, obviously. We all know what happened to Dimebag. Should be really good. I don't think the album's that consistent. I don't think it's as good as it could have been. I much preferred Hell Yeah with Vinnie Paul that was in afterwards. They were brilliant band. I saw them live lots of times and did some great albums. But Damage Plan was okay. This song is the first one and only album, Newfound Power, and it's a song Save Me, which I think was the lead single actually off it. It's a straight ahead rocker. It's not as heavy. They're not as heavy as Pantera were, for instance. It's more just sort of normal metal. Singer's okay. It's just a cool riffing metal track, if you like. It's not really Pantera-esque at all, I don't think, apart from obviously his style of play. Yeah, so I've got anything else on that? Yeah, just nothing to really say about it, but other than that.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Damage Plan. Cool.
Yeah.
I hadn't actually heard any of their stuff, but only one album then. That was it. And that
was it. Well, yeah. Obviously, he was playing with them when he got killed.
Yeah.
That was what was in.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cheers, mate. What you got in, Dom?
I actually forgot that Vinny was in that band.
Yeah.
Didn't remember that he was the drummer in that. Anyway, okay. So for me, well, you've already mentioned it, Lee. TNT. I love this. I love this album.
Yeah.
And I love this song. Maybe my favorite TNT song of all time. It's called Satellite. If I had a satellite, I would see the world tonight. It's kind of Queen-esque, really. The solo has that kind of like, but man, I just love this song so much. Again, not dissimilar to Europe. I didn't love TNT back in the day. I was more into like my sleaze, like my LA Guns and my, that kind of stuff. And they, a lot of their stuff was a bit too shiny for me at the time. I can appreciate it a bit more now. But when you're young, you have a lot of opinions, don't you? But
yeah.
But when this album came out, man, I was like, wow, I listened to this album to death. I loved it. So it's probably my favorite record of theirs, to be honest. Very strong album. If you don't know it, as Lee said, and you hadn't heard him for a while, check out My Religion because it's really good. But yeah, Satellite's just a fantastic song. So there you go.
Well, they are big Queen. Well, Queen are massive influence. You can tell, can't you? Even on, especially the guitar solos a lot. Yeah. Very cool. Cheers, mate. Okay, well, I had to put this song in. We've got a bit of a story behind the one that I couldn't have in because you fuckers wouldn't let me have it. We had a bit of a conversation last week. But I had to get a song off the actual album in. So I've changed things around a little bit. So Iced Earth and Hollow Man I've chosen from the Glorious Burden album. This is a ballad, actually. It's two ballads on the album. When the Eagle Cries and Hollow Man. This is the one I prefer a lot more than When the Eagle Cries. It's just a brilliant ballad that sort of drifts along on this great acoustic sort of riff. And of course, it's got Tim Ripper Owens on this album. He did 2 albums with Iced Earth. But this was the one. I think this is probably my favorite album as well. from Ice Earth altogether. Not because it's just got Tim Ripper Owens, it's just everything about it is just fucking brilliant. It's a bit of a concept album as well. It's all war themed. A lot of it's Civil War as well. Just going back and looking at that. So, but Hollow Man, The Glorious Burden is just a fantastic song with Tim Ripper Owens and obviously the brilliant John Schaefer. There you go. Hollow Man.
Cool.
Ice Earth.
Cool.
But I'll tell you about my track I really wanted and you didn't let me have later. Okay, track 9.
Okay, I'm wondering whether Don might have this actually. So maybe Don's got this one on his list, and that's a band I'm actually going to see on Sunday. I'm going to see the Dead Daisies, and this is the support band. It's the Choir Boys from their album Well Oiled, and it's the last track. I think there's only 9 tracks on the album, which is quite short, really. But it's the song Black Mariah.
Great song! I don't have it, but yeah, great song.
Yeah, it's really cool. Typical Choir Boys sort of piano-y and guitar-y riff and all that. It's got a great riff going all the way through it. It's got a great piano type solo rather than a guitar solo in it. And it's just a good out-and-out rocker for the end of the album. I'm sure I had a quick look on setlist.com and they haven't played, they've played this quite a few times, but they don't play it all the time. But I'm fairly sure they played it when I saw them, and they did say they played it some like 2018 last when I possibly could have been there. I don't know. I'm sure they have played it when I was there once. But yeah, it's a cracking song to close the album out. It's quite long as well, about 5-6 minutes. So yeah, cool riff. The Choir Boys. Okay.
Oh, that one.
I actually missed that. I didn't see that was a 2004 release, or I would have thought about it. That is a standout track for them for sure.
Yes, good.
Very cool. What you got then, Dom?
What do I have? Oh, I've got another solo album. This is Cans. Joaquin Cans, the singer for Hammerfall. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his first name right. I'm sure somebody will tell me if I am or not.
Walking Cans sounds a bit weird.
Does it?
Well, it's Joachim.
Joachim.
Joachim. I don't know if I think the J might be silent. I don't know. Anyway, someone will.
I'll tell you who will tell us. Metal Crusader.
Metal Crusader.
666. Let us know.
Well. Yeah. So anyway, he called the band Cans. First and only solo album, Beyond the Gates. Good one. I'm not going to say it doesn't sound like Hammerfall because it kind of does. If anything, it might have a bit more classic rock influence. Maybe not as many fast, songs. But it's a good record. I've listened to it quite a bit over the years. The song I picked is Silent Cries. He's in really good voice. Stretching out a little bit, but it's still basic hard rock, but definitely worth a listen if you like Hammerfall and didn't know that the singer had a solo record out. So
cool.
Very cool. Very cool. This next one, I've had to do a little bit of research in this one, so I haven't heard this one until I got the 2004 list together, but I knew I liked the band because I've heard stuff from them in the past. So it's Metal Church. They brought Weight of the World out this year, and the song's called Bomb to Drop, and it's fucking brilliant. It's actually a lot of mid-paced metal track. I can't believe how good they sound, and I know that a lot of fans say that they've made some great albums all through their career, but they sound fucking brilliant on this. If not even better than probably, the album that I really knew, which was The Dark. They even sound better on this. It's just a great classic sort of metal riff running through the track, really heavy. Just how you expect Metal Church to be. I wasn't really sure who the singer was at this point. Do you know, Dom? Who the singer might be?
No, I was going to ask you. I don't think it's Mike Howe, the second singer. So it might be a third singer.
But they've all got that similar sort of aggressive sort of sound to the singers. They're very cool indeed. Very cool.
I think there was a period where they didn't have either of the two previous ones. They may have made a record or two with a third singer, but I don't know him.
I mean, I haven't listened to all this album, but I ended up listening to a few to get a track, and it's brilliant. Really good. Just as good as anything I've heard them do. So Metal Church, Bomb to Drop. Okay, track 10 already, guys. What you got?
Already, right. Okay, I've got another ballad actually, but not with bands you'd associate with ballads, and that's Ramstein. from their Rise album.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I bet the old fucking. I bet the old treadmill's going slow on this one.
It is a power ballad, but it's
coming out very slowly on this one.
Yeah. It is a power ballad, but it's a proper ballad. It's not an industrial ballad, if you like. But anyway, the song's called Ohne dich, which means without you, apparently, in German. And it's just you wouldn't, if you didn't know it was Ramstein, it does, because it doesn't sound like it. It's just a typical sort of rock ballad, if you like. There you go, and just a bit of a sing along. Reese is a okay album. It's not as good as the other ones. This is the album's got America on it, that song, and amongst some other ones. And it's quite cool.
This is the tour that I saw them on when they burnt all my hair off on this tour.
Oh yeah.
And it never grew back.
It never grew back. I'm still trying to sue. It's been a while.
Do they do this song live?
I've only seen them once. I'm not sure they did or not.
What about when you saw them on this tour, Lee? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. I don't really remember a lot about it, especially after I got my hair burnt off. I can't remember a lot. But, I'll tell you what, though, I'd like to catch them live now. I'm not saying I would go and sort of pay to go and see them on their own. But I'd like, if there was at a festival or something, I'd definitely like to catch them. I mean, what I hear about the show they put on and all that.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah,
sounds pretty amazing. Does sound pretty amazing.
I wanted to go and see them because they're playing in, I think they've had to obviously move it, postpone it. They're playing at Coventry Football Stadium. But it's such a nightmare to get to because it's halfway outside Coventry anyway. So I look at just the logistics of getting there without driving, obviously, because I wanted to have a beer or whatever. It's just a nightmare. So it put me off. I don't know why they have to play there. All the places they could have played. Bloody Coventry Football Stadium. Joke.
They should come to Cornwall. They should play at Plymouth Argyle. That's where they should fucking play. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
My next one. my next band is from a band that's sort of.
It's my turn. Excuse me. My turn.
Sorry. Okay, Dom. I meant that's what I was just testing you, making sure you was on your toes. That was all right. What you got then, Dom?
Taking liberties. My number 10 is Blaze Bayley. This is the band that he had for 3 albums after he left Maiden, just called Blaze. These records are really good, I tell you, man. So much better than any of the Maiden stuff. Just straight up metal. Most of it's mid-paced. He sounds really like impassioned and great. So this is the last record. Yeah, I mean, he made more that were called Blaze Bayley, but this band was called Blaze. The album is called Blood and Belief, and the song is Soundtrack of My Life, which I think is a pretty big song for him. He had a best of 2-disc collection called Soundtracks of My Life, and I've seen it dotted on various live videos and stuff. So I think it's kind of one of his big solo songs. Fantastic, really good, I think just makes up for whatever, some people really like the stuff he did with Maiden. I like to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I never listen to those records. Okay, I never put them on. But I think this just makes up for it. I think it's fantastic stuff. So good for him. I think he really proved himself. Well, he probably had something to prove after he got canned from Maiden, and he proved it. These 3 records are great. So this is the last one of the Blaze Band.
It's not a good match, mate, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Maiden and Blaze Bayley. It's simple as that, isn't it? That don't always work out. Good one, mate. Okay, well, I'm going for a band that sort of, I suppose, trying to bring what we've got now, this sort of the 80s sort of glammy sort of scene back. A band called Wigwam. You guys have probably heard.
Oh, yeah. 66777 or what?
Yeah, so the album, I mean, they've got a sense of humour. Without a doubt, the album was called 667, The Neighbour of the Beast. They're fun 80s metal, basically. That's what they sound like. I mean, it's got a brilliant line in this. Because I was listening to this song again, and I couldn't remember this line of the song. You'd love this. Listen to this. Jet Curves, because obviously it's called Carlisle, by the way. This song's called Carlisle, and it's sort of it's saying like, he's this bird, woman, sorry, lady.
That's our female viewer gone.
What the one that we had is saying how this woman that he's in love with compares to this beautiful car, right? So it's got them proper 80s lyrics, you know. So
he's not thinking about the place then.
No, definitely not. So it says jet curves, hydraulic hips. She's got a love turbo electronic clip.
Well, your channel was good while it lasted, Lee. Your channel was good while it lasted.
I just couldn't remember that when I listened to this back then. But when I put it on the other day, I was just fuck. I've got to write that down and tell you. They're a great band, by the way.
I bet your wife loves it as well.
They've actually brought out a really underrated album, I think, this year. They've come back after a long time off. Got a little bit more serious, not talking about electronic clips or anything like that. The album's called Never Say Die, the new one, and it's really good. It's really heavy, great sounding album. So I know I'm sort of promoting that one because it sort of seems to have gone and forgotten about. It's a bit sad, really, but it's a really great sounding album, the one this year. But they're a good band. They're a really good band. This wasn't actually this was their debut, but it wasn't their favorite album. I've got a better album. I think there was a better album than this, but it was still a lot of fun at the time, especially at the time, trying to bring that fun party rock, I suppose, back to music. So there you go, Wigwam, Carlisle, not the place.
Not the place. Right. Okay.
Okay. We're on track 11. What we got?
Okay. Track 11. Now, this is the easiest track I had to pick on this. As soon as I saw the year, and I knew this track was high up in the list of is it the last track on the album? Might be the last, it might be second to last, but it's one of my favorite bands, Danzig, and real return to form with Circle of Snakes. This is the first one, I believe. Tommy Victor is in the band from Prong. He's the guitarist. And this is just back to classic Danzig now. Songs like Skin Carver, which usually opens the show up to this day, Thousand Devils Rain on it. And this song is the best song on the album. I love it. Black Angel, White Angel. I love this song for the first minute I heard it on the album, and it's a strange one because I actually love it. I'm not sure he ever actually plays it, but it's just the standout song for me. But yeah, brilliant. Danzig, yeah, back to after the 6 and 7, we're sort of heading towards back to old Danzig how they used to be. This is their proper return to form, and might be arguably the best post Danzig 6-7 album that he's done. I think he's done two more after this, Death Red Sabbath and the last one, which I can't remember. So yeah, that's probably his strongest album for a long time. So yeah, Black Angel, White Angel, mid-paced, brilliant song. Check it out if you haven't heard it. If you like a bit of Danzig, it's excellent.
Very cool. And I reckon Dom's got this one.
I don't. I kind of lost my way with Danzig after 4. I mean, I heard bits and pieces, but this isn't the first time that Jam has said that Circle of Snakes was a return to form. So
look, Danzig fan coming on.
Yeah. Evil cat. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so it's about time that I go listen to it. So I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah.
Because I've kind of written him off, but I trust you, Jam.
Thanks, man. Yeah, check it out. Cool.
So my number 11, you know him, we love him. We've already talked about them. Saxon. This is from their 16th album, Lionheart. And the song is called.
Sorry.
The song is called "Flying on the Edge," which the cat just did. Yeah. Just a consistent, great band. They've never really missed a step. There are a few songs that did get a bit heavier on these. On these albums, the 90s, 2000s albums. I like their more kind of mid-paced melodic stuff. They're still doing those tunes as well, and this is one of them. So yeah, Saxon Lionheart.
I sort of mentioned this. I mentioned this album when my video got taken down. Saxon one from YouTube. We reacted to their new song. It got taken down completely. But I did mention this album. For me, this is because I remember hearing this one And I think this is where they sort of did that change, what you're talking about, the sort of heavier.
Well, I mean, they've been doing it for a couple years and a couple albums now. But as I said, it's not all fucking, double bass drums and heavy.
It's just heavy. It's just heavy.
But a lot of the openers, like for us, for instance, on this album, the opener is Witchfinder General, and that's a real kind of like really fast, heavy song. But a lot of it has to do with the modern production as well. I mean, maybe if these songs were recorded in 1983, they wouldn't sound quite as fucking heavy, you know what I mean? But yeah, they're still making their classic melodic mid-paced Saxon songs as well on these albums, and this is one of those.
The new one actually reminds me of older Saxon.
Yeah,
the new song. It really does. So. Right, okay, cool. Excellent. Well, I have got Alter Bridge on my list. So it's actually the last song on the album, which is The End Is Here from the
great track.
One Day
track.
Remains album. So this is funny. My brother got me into Alter Bridge, and he actually did a copy of the album for me, and the legal copy, I'm afraid, just copied it for me and said, have a listen to this. And the tracks were around the wrong way. So it went from track 11 to track 1. So I always thought, until I got to know Alter Bridge, until I really got into them, this was the first track, which it made it a pretty amazing first track as well, because it's got, it's just an absolutely storming track. It's just builds and builds and builds and builds. It's really emotional, I'd say, epic, like a lot of the songs are on this. I mean, the One Day Remains album's probably, it's got to look what the album with the most ballads on, I suppose, and the most well-known ones, I suppose, from Alter Bridge. But they got a lot heavier after this album, didn't they? I think, Jam.
Blackbird and stuff. Yeah.
But I got to see these, probably one of my favourite concerts that I've ever been to. I think I mentioned it in our live concerts we've been to, fucking program, whatever we did, and it was at the Royal Albert Hall. And they don't usually do this song. They haven't done it for quite a few years, and they did this one with a full orchestra, and it was just fucking amazing. They are an amazing band, they really are. But yeah, Alter Bridge, The End Is Here from One Day Remains. And I think they said
about that song.
Yeah, and I think they surprised a lot of people. I think that's all right, mate. They surprised a lot of people as well, aren't they? Because obviously the tag from Creed. And it's not quite on the winger level, but it sort of is. People won't give Alter Bridge a chance because of Creed. And the Creed were so big that they got too big, I suppose. And people, when bands get too big, they don't like them anymore, do they? They say they're too commercial, or they weren't big over here, Creed, were they? But they was in America. Obviously, they sold millions and millions of records. But they're nothing. Alter Bridge are nothing like it. But they've got elements, obviously, because the songwriter's the same, but they've got some real heaviness to them as well. Especially now, they got heavier and heavier. But Alter Bridge, The End Is Here from One Day Remains is by track 11.
Yeah, cool.
And we move on to the last track. Right, what you got there?
Last track, right? Okay, I've got a super group, and this is Velvet Revolver, which is Gorse / Duff. I think it's Matt Sorum on the drums, I think so, and Scott Whelan, obviously late Scott Whelan on vocals. Great album, Contraband, first album. They've only done 2 to date. Obviously, I don't think they'll do any more now, but they were looking for a new singer at one point, but I think Slash is doing his own thing in Guns N' Roses, so I don't think they'll be back anymore. But this is Contraband, quite a long album, quite a lot of songs on it. A lot of them are singles as well, some great songs on here. Fall to Pieces, Superhuman, Slither, all great songs, but I've gone for Dirty Little Thing is track 12, which has got a great video, great upbeat song. I really like Superhuman, actually. I would have put that in my list if I didn't have this, but I could have picked any song off this album. Didn't much like the follow-up particularly, though, their second album, but Contraband is excellent. And I was lucky enough to see them at least once. I think I can't remember if they headlined down there twice. I know they were doing it on their second album tour. They definitely headlined, but I don't know if they did it on when they did their first album. But anyway, I definitely got to see them, so I was quite pleased about that. Dirty Little Thing. There you go.
Very cool. Cheers, mate. Excellent list, by the way. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
What you got then, Dom?
Okay. I've got a band we've mentioned a few times before. Pink Cream 69. The album's called Thunderdome. This is their 9th album. Ninth album, 2004. This track is called "See Your Face." It's kind of a epic-y ballad. It's a good one, very good, consistent band, really doing the melodic rock thing quite spectacularly. And ninth album, who knew? It just blows my mind that these bands, and they still have like major label deals over, in Sweden and all these places. So they actually sound really good as well. Yeah. So if you haven't heard Pink Cream 69, it's a good place to start.
I think the first time I heard them it must have been their 10th album called 10, was it?
Intensity.
Yeah. I knew it had 10 or somewhere in the title.
I think that's their 10th album.
Yeah, you're
Although
right.
maybe it's not. Maybe it might. Maybe Intensity is really their 12th album. I don't know.
Yeah, what these bands are like. They like to be different. Anyway, yeah, great song, a great band, by the way. What I've heard of them. So very cool. Was it David Reedman on vocals there as well? David Reedman.
Yeah, still the one. They kept the same singer after Andy Darris left, I think.
Cool. Okay, I'm going back to a band that I've mentioned quite a few times. It wasn't on my list originally, but because you fuckers wouldn't let me have track 12, I've had to choose another track 12. And Jaded Heart, not Jaded Hard, Jaded Heart.
Yeah.
And the song Jaded. There you go. Very rocking, catchy, fun. The last great album by them, actually. This is the point where Michael Borman left the band, and then they became some sort of power metal type band. Strange, but they still sounded great on this album all the time that Michael Borman was with them. This is a great song, like I said, to round off. I think it was the last track on the album as well, but round off my list. That's it, Jaded Heart. All right, guys.
Cool.
It's been nice knowing you, Jaded Heart.
Yeah. Okay.
We've all learned a lot from you over the last few years.
We have. They've been mentioned a lot by me. Anyway, Jam, you got any honourables, mate?
Yeah, just a few. Airborne released their first album, but I think it's a bit of an independent one called Ready to Rock, and they later re-recorded that track on a later album, which I really like that track actually. But it's only got about 8 songs on this EP, this sort of album, so didn't get anything off that on it. Annihilator had All For You, but this is still in the period of Annihilator when they're just doing average albums. They do the last 5 or 6 they've done recently a lot better than this period, so still nothing off that. I think we talked about it the other day, Anthrax, Greater of Two Evils, which is them re-recording a lot of their old songs with John Bush singing them. So that's quite a bit different if you want to have a check out that. And then another supergroup, Bryson Destruction. I don't know if you remember them. They did 2 albums. Tracy Guns, Nicky Six, and John Corabi on this one, although he's not singing. It's some other fella. Never heard of him before, but John Corabi plays on it apparently. But it was okay. It should be better than it was. There's a couple of tracks on it. The album afterwards, I think it's got Ginger was in the band for the album afterwards, but couldn't get anything off that. Dom mentioned Megadeth, and then lastly Wasp. I mean, it's not often we don't get Wasp in, but Neon Gold 1 and 2 just aren't very good Wasp albums particularly. So nothing off them.
Sort of a lot of Wasp fans think that they're like, they look at them albums like there's something special, like, but they weren't, were they? Really?
No, it's a bit dull.
Okay.
Everybody's got an opinion,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, sometimes it's shit.
It is. We always talk about Wasp. We like Wasp, but they don't we? It's just can't always get in, can they? That's it.
No, this is true. Okay, what you got then, Dom? You got anything?
No honorable mentions for me.
No.
Oh. No.
Okay, so
buy my 12 tracks.
I got Dream Evil, the Book of Heavy Metal. What a name for an album, eh? The Book of Heavy Metal. Primal Fear. They brought a good album out called Devil's Ground, and of course, you've got that Primal Fear cover band, Judas Priest, that try and sound like Primal Fear quite a bit. Scorpions brought Unbreakable out, not their best album really, and apparently they've got a new song out tomorrow as well.
Oh right,
yeah. Dio. What happened, Dom?
Thunderball.
Exactly, what happened?
I'm talking about Dio all the time. I want to get some new names in there.
I actually had Europe, Start from the Dark, great album. and Eclipse had their second album out called Second to None, but I think from the next album was where they fucking were just superb for me. But yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, and I wanted to talk about the song you didn't let me have. So rightfully so, thinking about it now, I was being a bit selfish, guys, asking. So Iced Earth, I've already spoken about them. They had a second CD out because the album was so fucking long, The Glorious Burden, and the second CD consisted of a trilogy of songs. It's the Gettysburg 1863 epic track, which lasts about 30 odd minutes, split into 3 bits. And I wanted it as my 12th track because there was 11 tracks on the original CD, and that was the first, second, and third track. But rightfully so, guys, you stopped me. But it doesn't stop me mentioning it now. It's an absolutely amazing song. I don't know if it's...
And it could have been your number 1 track.
No, it couldn't, because it has to come as 1, and it says 1, 2, 3. So I can't have 1, 2, and 3, can I?
Oh, right. Oh, so you just refuse to split them up into 3 songs.
Although each one is just superb, I can't just have the one because the whole thing is just so epic.
Is it 1 track on the CD though? Does it come up as 1 track when you put the CD in?
No, but I wasn't going to tell you that. No, it's 1, 2, 3. It's 30 odd minutes long. Yeah. So yeah, you're totally right. But I can talk about it now, can't I? So,
did you say it's called the Gettysburg Address?
No, it's Gettysburg 1863. The year.
18. Okay, so it's
and
man,
the song,
he loves America. Jeez.
Oh fucking hell, yeah. And it goes
he'll go to jail for America. Oh no.
Anyway, the Gettysburg song is split into 3 parts, and it's for each day of this battle or whatever happened back then.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's very good. It's very epic. There's fucking cannonballs being shot, and you can hear them flying around. And it's a very cool song. I mean, it just flies by as a listener. It's just got epic all over.
So do the cannonballs.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's a brilliant song. And, you know, it's nothing to do with loving America. Nothing to do with that.
Well, I mean, so you got Iced Earth song in your regular top 12, and now you've mentioned them in your honorable mentions as well. So I think we've covered it.
I think we have. I want to know if Mark, because Mark, that's his favourite song. I think from Iced. Yeah, it is from Iced Earth. He loves that song. So I just want to know if he's actually.
You mean he loves those 3 songs?
3 songs.
Yeah. I mean, Mark. I mean, he can make his own rules up if he wants, but I'm interested to find out if he does put 1, 2, or 3 in the list.
Oh, in this, all right.
Yeah, but so Mark, you can't have the whole
He'll probably
thing.
just cheat. He'll probably just cheat.
You can't. Well, he ain't going to get pulled on the show, is he? He's just in the comments.
No, he can do whatever he wants.
Exactly. Anyway, guys, it's been absolutely fun as usual. All you guys keep putting your list down. They're fucking brilliant. I love reading.
Yeah, they really are. They're fantastic
stuff.
Yeah, so can't wait to read them, and see you for 2005. See you later, guys.
See ya. Cheers.